Boom! What's going on, everyone? This is Steve Larson. Welcome to the Your Final Offer Summit. We're very excited to have on a very special guest today. This session is going to be with one of my favorite people on the planet, Emely Roman. She's incredible. She runs a company called The Foundry, and where she is a pro at content marketing optimization. And just a little tidbit that not a lot of others will get. She personally does a lot with my social media, tons, and a lot of my content, and is responsible for spreading it. She's the one that spreads a lot of the stuff that I actually publish. So I'm very excited, very honored to have her on today. Emely, welcome to the summit.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. This will be really cool. So I just want to dive right into it.
Okay.
First of all, I guess could you tell everybody what it is that you do,
Yeah.
so they all know?
So basically, I own a content marketing agency called The Foundry, and I lead a team of experts in social media, copywriting, branding, and high volume content creation. So like you said, we spread your message, we build or forge legends, basically.
It's an awesome concept, and you do an amazing job at it.
Thank you.
So that's what you currently sell. So I want to go right into the prompt. All right, the
Okay.
prompt for this whole thing is, hey, you get sick or whatever, for whatever reason, in 90 days, you are not allowed to work for the rest of your life, right? Which I know is pretty intense. What would your final offer be?
Okay. So I had to think about this for a little bit because, interestingly enough, I was actually put into a situation like that last year.
No way.
So in on May 17th of 2018, I was diagnosed with two aneurysms in
Wow.
my brain. Yes. And I had been freelancing for over 5 years. I had quit my corporate job 5 years ago. I was a business analyst in a Fortune 500 company. I was doing really well, but I had depression. So fast forward to May 17th, my doctor told me I had two aneurysms. And if you guys know anything about aneurysms, you're basically a ticking time bomb. And at that point, I felt like I was dying.
Wow.
Basically, this whole situation that you're sort of like about this summit, it's what happened to me. And literally on the 18th, the next day, I found out I was pregnant with my first baby.
Whew.
So, yes. And I had to, so one day I was dying, and the next day I had to pivot and I had to make a choice. I had to say, how am I going to
Oh, man.
move this freelancing thing and make stability and build stability for my family, build stability for my baby, and more importantly, how can I create the freedom so that I feel like, you know what, if anything happens to me, God forbid, I can take care of my baby and pay my bills and be okay. Because at that time, and even to this day, becoming a millionaire is not really my focus. It's creating freedom for my family. That's my whole why. So this is gonna be a little bit different, Steve, because
Yeah, bring it.
I I was actually put in that position. So
Hmm.
fast forward to a couple of months of me kind of like figuring out this whole agency thing. I went to Funnel Hacking Live for the first time in my life. It changed everything for me. Um, and I got to a point, like, I don't know, obviously it happens to everybody, but there was so much information overload from Funnel Hacking Live
Yeah.
that I was like a deer in the headlights. Like, oh my God, there's so much going on. I don't even know how to even start. So on my way back to Philly, on the airplane, all of a sudden, the information that I had gathered just started to pour out in a notebook in the funnel hacking notebook that I was given that for
Cool.
the
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make this about religion, but I feel like there was a divine intervention there because everything that was pouring out was literally a framework for an offer that was not only going to be recurring for me, but I didn't have to do anything for it. And I was like super, I was in shock. I was like, oh my God, like if I were to quit my agency today, and if this product actually works, I'm good. I'm set. Like, and so I got out of the airplane, and in order for this product to actually work, I had to leverage somebody else's community. I had to leverage somebody else's market. I had to leverage somebody else's energy because a lot of people, I'm so focused with client work that a lot of people may not know what I do.
Yeah.
And just I need to get over that. I need to be visible, like you say. um, but I needed to leverage somebody else's tribe, market, community, energy, content creation, consistency, expertise in order for this to work for me. And I called a client that I used to copyright for last year, and I said to her, "Hey, do you want to make an extra $300,000 this year with me?" And she owns a travel agency that makes seven figures every quarter. So this kind of offer, like the way that I pitched this offer to her, anybody, no matter how much money you're making, it's gonna stop you on the tracks. Like, of course, like let me hear what you gotta say, right?
Right.
So I pitched the offer to her in person, like, hey, this is what I think that we need to do. I'm gonna leverage, like I said, your tribe. I'm gonna leverage your expertise. I'm going to leverage your energy, your presence, and not only am I going to give you five-figure launches every month, but you're not gonna have to pay any Facebook ads or anything like that, and you're gonna give me 40% of the cut. So that's the price. So I'm gonna answer that question. I know you're gonna ask me, what's the price of the offer? It's 40% of your cut. So
40%. So your answer is to combine with someone else who already has an existing. That's very clever.
yes. So Shantaria. So I'm gonna say shout out to Shantaria. That's my business partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was like, let's do it, because at the end of the day, this product, she and I basically only come together once a month. The product gets developed, my team launches it, and then I get an email at the end of the month with, here's your cut. Here's a breakdown of the sales. Here's the cut. See you later.
Fascinating.
Yes.
So you're going to go, so someone who already has momentum, they already have the following, you're going to launch something to their audience on like a kind of like a ongoing basis, and then just take a piece of that. But basically you're grabbing revenues they didn't know they had.
Correct.
Sweet.
So I'm going to go into basically what it is and why it's so easy for any single person in any industry to do this. Okay. You're a big advocate for publishing, and publishing is the key to this product.
Yeah.
You have to, like the way that I use publishing for these clients, because there's two other clients that I do this for. So it's not just one, it's actually three like working companies that are actually doing this right now, that my team is literally just developing products on a monthly basis, and we're just kind of like going and going and going. It's a machine. But in order for that to work, there are certain criteria that you need to meet as a business. And that is, you have to obviously be an expert in what you do.
Sure.
You have to have some type of community already. They need to know something about you. So that way we can actually use that and start magnifying your message through content, through publishing. And as we magnify your message and we convert you into a category king or a category queen through publishing, because that's the only way that you can actually create longevity in your business. Like you said, it's not about being in the launching business. It's about making sure that your content is so focused, so hyper focused, that you don't have to worry about that launching, like wasting energy in launching. It has to be an autopilot, and publishing does that. So it's so important that people understand that when you create content, it has to be intentional, and it has to somehow connect to your core offer at all times, or your website, or building your email list. That's the most important part of your whole business strategy. So for the three companies that we're currently doing this with, what we do is we build up pressure for the actual product. And the product itself is actually also content. It's content marketing as well.
Right.
So let me explain a little bit more about that. So with Shantaria, she is a travel agency, and she turned into a business coach for travel agents, right? And everybody wants to know how she got to the point where she's at. How did she get to, seven figures quarterly. Everybody wants that, right? And so one of the things that she is advocate for, like any successful business owner would, like everything from Russell Brunson to Grant Cardone to Gary Vee, they all talk about that.
Yeah.
You have to publish.
Yeah.
And so she says, you gotta be out there, you gotta place yourself. And a lot of these business owners don't really even know where to start. Like, what do I say? What do I write? And they sit there for hours on end and just kind of trying to figure out, like, okay, so what am I gonna post today? I don't know. Like, like, how do I connect? Like, and they may have funnels, they may have an offer, they may have a website, they may have everything together except for that content strategy that will basically drive traffic to your business.
Because a lot of them have something, but they don't have enough like orchestrated attention for what they actually do.
Exactly. And so it's like, one thing is to like post a cat meme or inspirational crap.
Yeah.
And another thing is like literally writing content that talks to your audience and tells them, listen, I got the solution for you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be direct sales all the time. You have to connect with them. So, I can go into all that strategy, but basically the product itself is done for you marketing content for that specific industry.
Sure.
So what we do is we sell like a library of that content. We launch every month a topic, like 4 topics, and they download the topics and they basically customize it to their brand, the travel agents. And now, like, you no longer spend 4 hours a day trying to figure out what you have to do. And not only that, it's like a domino effect, because in my industry as a content marketer, a lot of business owners don't really grasp the value that we bring to a business, because they haven't gotten to the point of understanding, once the connection is made between the audience and the content and whatever you put out, they don't understand the ROI to it yet, because they're so random and sporadic with it that they never get any ROI. But what happens when you're actually consistent? And what happens when you actually have a strategy to it? Everything changes.
Everything changes.
Start launching like this. Hey, and repeat customers are the best customers, right?
Super easy ones. So like what would the service that you're doing then is you're grabbing, you're helping them create a content strategy and a way to put that content all over the place. So let's say that you're talking to someone brand new who's never seen any of this stuff before, but they're your dream customer. They're all the things that you said. How do you describe that to them? Like, do you say, like, first we're going to do this and we're going to do this? So, like, what's the actual offer itself for this?
So what we do, this is actually best for business coaches, like, again, in any type of industry. So what we do, so what we do is basically, what I would tell somebody would be, okay, so do you want monthly recurring revenue? Yes. Do you want to work, or do you not want to work? Like, just don't work on it. We'll develop the product for you, right? We'll look into your market. We'll do the assessment. We'll figure out what they actually need in terms to market their own business in the niche. So for, like, let's go back to, or let's just do a chiropractor, for example, right? So like, let's say you're a business coach to chiropractors, right? So what we'll do is we'll analyze what type of content is best for that chiropractic business or the chiropractic practice or whatever. And we'll analyze that content and we'll sell that done for you content to your tribe, so that those businesses can start creating content for themselves. So now all of a sudden you have a library. So like, for example, even you, Steve, like, you could literally sell this type of stuff, like the done for you material, to your tribe. And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, you don't know what to talk about? Here is a template of everything. It's sort of like what Russell Brunson does for the perfect webinar, for all those things. But it's content. It's content that you can put out every day, copy and paste to your social media automation tool, and then boom, 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 every day.
And you're building an agency to have low management on your side, right?
Yeah, so my agency
in the scenario
right now, I have project managers. Oh, something happened there. I have project managers for each company, and what they do is they handle everything. Like the project manager like talks to the copywriter, the social media manager. They get together, they create the content, and it gets produced by the 28th most of the time. And then the other team from the other company just grabs that, uploads it into like Kajabi or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the audience or the customer goes into Kajabi, downloads the products, customizes it, and then just goes on autopilot.
That's awesome. And so you're just I mean, because you did this. So what you did is you pulled together all the pieces, created like roles and rules for those that you're bringing in to do all the work, and then you basically automated your whole offer, the fulfillment of it, something that's ongoing. Because then it's up to the actual, if you're just targeting business coaches, they're going to keep speaking, they're going to keep talking, and you're just taking that and giving direction and attention to it with a cool agency in the back. Is that's what
Yeah,
that's so
yeah,
cool.
exactly. We're leveraging somebody else's audience because Emily didn't have an audience back then. So I was like, I need to figure out how to do this because like to my point that I was trying to make earlier, there are different domino effects that happen. So like one of the most important domino effects that I feel is that it educates the business owner
Hmm.
on the importance of content marketing. It
Yeah.
educates them so when they're ready to actually hire somebody in house, sort of like how you hired us,
Yeah.
they understand the importance and they're gonna be like, well, no, I don't care. Like, just tell me how much it costs, and then
Because it's
so
a
it
huge
creates a
deal.
whole yeah, so it creates a whole different standard in terms of the value of content marketing
Yeah.
because we are touching the baby entrepreneurs
Mm.
and we're educating them on content marketing and we're educating them on how to put all the pieces together. So, for example, you might have a social media calendar, you might have like a 60 days worth of captions based on that industry. You might have graphics that can be templated or customized to whatever it is, and you might also have even email sequences that nurture your audience, the type of audience that you should have.
Yeah.
Like, so it all, like, for them, it's like for them to start downloading and looking at these pieces, everything makes sense because a lot of times we get this information overload, like, oh, you got to post on social media, you got to have email marketing, you got to do this, you got to put a landing page, but how do you get it all together, right?
Yeah.
It makes people stuck.
The content is like the glue between everything that I do. Like, it makes everything jive. Without it, it would seem so sporadic.
Yeah, for sure. And when you create consistency, that's when people actually start noticing you. That's when people start saying, oh,
Mhm.
wow, like Steve knows what he's talking about, or Emily knows what she's talking about,
Mhm.
or whoever knows what they're talking about and they're passionate about it. Let me listen to them a little bit more. And the consistency creates expectancy. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
now people are expecting more value out of you every single day and more
that's
and
gold
more,
right there.
right?
Yeah, consistency creates expectancy. That's really cool.
Yeah. So the other domino effect that happens is that through these companies that we're touching hundreds, if not thousands, of companies through this product.
Hmm.
And I have people, like, sometimes I look into the Facebook group for these coaches, for example, and I have single moms who are trying to get a business up and running and telling the coach, you've saved my life.
Hmm.
And like, I was about to quit my entrepreneurial dream because I didn't have enough time between working my 9 to 5, taking care of my family, and creating content. I didn't have enough time to grow my business, so it was never going anywhere.
Hmm.
And now, having the ability to have this content, even though it's templated and I do have to put an hour or so a week into the content, it's literally freeing up my time to be able to grow my business. And for me to see that, like for us to see that, not just from the perspective of Shantaria or the other two, like for example, because she's even said it to me. She's like, "You've changed the way I do business." A seven-figure quarterly business owner has told me that I've changed the way that she does business, because now it's like she has recurring revenue that comes every month from her coaching side that she can use to grow her business even more. And now there's even bigger projects coming out of this, because
Yeah.
this is not really for to make $1 million, although you probably could if you start popping in Facebook ads to it.
This is for the
um,
consistency and the cash flow to live off of.
exactly, or to fund your next project,
Yeah.
or to fund your big projects, right?
Yeah.
Because, for example, for me, um, the revenue that's coming out of this situation here, I'm actually inserting it into an e-commerce company that is coming out soon.
Yeah.
So the agency is doing its thing, then I have this, and then there's a third thing coming soon, and that's not even going to have my face on it. It's going to be an e-commerce company, like,
Yeah.
so it's a way to fund other projects if your health is not on the line.
Yeah.
but but it could, it definitely, if I were to say today I'm out, I'll be good.
So, since you were in this scenario and you did go through this and that is what you launched, how did you launch that? Like, how did you go approach these people? How did you identify that that first person was the one you needed to go for?
So interestingly enough, so shameless plug here. No, um, Rachel Peterson is my coach, and
Yeah, she's great.
yeah, and she basically is forcing me to create my own funnel and get leads in and all that stuff. I never really had to do that up until now, because I I have my dream clients now because of my hard work. I've just been like a workhorse, like just nailing at it, just carving through a mountain, right?
Yeah.
But now it's time to automate a lot of those things. And um, the black label, which is the product it's the name of the product that I call it. So if I were to try to sell it to you, Stephen, it would be like, I want to offer you the black label to you, and it's like the highest ticket item that I have. Um, the way that I look at it, it isn't a normal type of launch, because this product is not an information product.
Right.
It's a it's a service, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a high level service, because I'm actually asking for 40% of your cut, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different, and this is where the experience in corporate kind of comes into play. I think that the best way for me to launch this in the long term is to literally, which I already did. It's create a list of criteria for the business owner that is the best type of business owner
Right.
for this particular launch or product, and then literally do like old school cold calling, baby.
That's
Like,
what I did my first like big funnel. It works. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, because you have to have a phone call at the end of this, at the end of the funnel for
Sure.
this high ticket item. You just have to,
Yeah.
because you have to explain a lot of the things, like, it's, I obviously, you can have a perfect webinar and maybe do like an application at the end, like at the last step, like, hey, apply here to
Sure.
see if you are fit for the business, but you have to have a phone call for this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a firm believer that you sometimes have to go back to old school and maybe grab some of the corporate stuff,
Yeah.
because I mean, corporations, they're corporations for a reason. They're making millions of dollars for a reason. And I remember back in when I was like 22, like I used to be a wholesale seller. Like I used to sell magic jacks, dude. Like I don't know if you ever heard. You know what magic jacks are?
I
They're like,
recognize it, but I can't remember what
it's
they
like
are.
voice over IP devices. Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I used to sell that at a
No
wholesale price.
way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the dude, the CEO of that company, literally would have us like say, like, here's a list of all the requirements that the business has to have in order for you to like sell this like 500 magic jacks, 1,500 magic jacks, like wholesale. And we'd have to like Google it, baby.
Yeah.
Like look for the business owners. And that's, I would probably say, I would have to have some closers in, some like really hungry salespeople to start actually getting that to the next level. But like I said, for me right now, I was able to recognize that I was already working with some clients that hit those criteria.
Right.
And I just called them up, and who's gonna back down?
It's
to
an amazing, yeah.
$7,000 minimum.
I didn't back down. It's awesome. um, for so I have a final question with this, and that is that okay. So you identify these clients, right? You make a dream criteria list, and then you approach them, and basically grab revenues they didn't know were able, that were available to them. You take a cut of that. It's on an ongoing basis, so there's a cash flow monthly. How do you keep it selling though? Let's say something bad happens, a client backs out for whatever reason. How is it that you keep this selling moving forward with very low management?
Got it. So for Shantaria and we have a contract. So we're business partners. So if she were to screw me over, which Shantaria, I love you. So like I would be able to have access. I have access to her email list. So right now, if I were to want to keep selling this, I can literally pop Facebook ads, do lookalike audiences, and sell it on my own.
Yeah. Cool. So you just keep it simple. Yeah. Grab the email list, make them look like audiences, and that's cool. And how many of these clients are you trying to handle at one time?
For this?
Yeah.
So right now I have 3. I can probably take 1 more right now at my current bandwidth.
So in the scenario, okay, so you're sick, you can't work much, but just grabbing these clients, and then other people are doing all this work. You're just an agency collecting it off the back. You can get probably 1 more in there. Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. If something, God forbid, happened to me right now, 1 more client, and I'll be set. Because then what I would do is, again, so this recurring revenue that happens is to fund other stuff. Or I could basically pop Facebook ads into each product, and then, because that's what we're doing for Shantaria right now. So we started in February, we started in March because it took 30 days to do the soft launch for the product. And then literally the way, so in 48 hours, we made $15,000.
It's awesome.
And I knew at that point that was a viable product.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, what we're gonna do, so I used to be, I don't know if I told you guys, I did business analyst. So I said to Shantaria, we're not gonna use the profit for the next 3 months. We're gonna compile it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna pop Facebook ads to it. So now we're at that stage of Facebook ads, and we're growing. Now it's time to expand. And so, if I were to want to keep selling this for the rest of my life, I could, unless a solar flare happens.
That's a solar flare for all businesses, unless a solar flare happens. That's just that's the out right there. Well, hey, I just want to thank you for being on here so much, and especially since you've been through this. I think it's going to be really valuable for those who are listening and watching right now. So appreciate it. Where can people learn more about you?
Go to emelyroman.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being on here, and everyone start thinking about your final offer.
Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.